How much further can we push it? Sonic the Hedgehog as a movie franchise is something that I would have never believed to be this successful. We went from this abomination to the true rendition of the GOAT. It's insane how the first movie walked so Shadow could run, or skate in this case.
They're air shoes.
I can't underestimate the impact of what the movies had on me when it first came out, and the second one even more. I can't be the only one who cried while watching Sonic Go Super, right? No, just me. And yes, this isn't the kind of Sonic movie that people wanted. I know many people wanted the movies to be animated, but I mean, come on. What we have right now is pretty freaking insane. It was made pretty clear that this wasn't our game counterpart Sonic. This was a different iteration of the character, and I can happily say that I love this version of Sonic. A kid learning to become a hero and becoming that game version of Sonic that we all know and love. I swear, the Sonic brand has never been stronger with back-to-back, not you, movie bangers. And with the release of Sonic Movie 3, people are losing their minds and are already making speculations as to how the first installment of the movies can play out. And I cannot help but be a little bit afraid. Hello my friends, and today I want to talk about why I wouldn't want a Sonic Movie 4 and how Sonic Movie 3 should be the last movie. And I'm just gonna preface this by saying a lot of this is just incoherent yapping, mostly because it's really hard to express why I feel this way without some bozo saying weak argument or you're being negative for the sake of being negative. I just have a really unique opinion on how I see the movies going forward. Also, I'm the kind of whippersnapper to point out flaws and minor dislikes that I have, as I like to see both sides of the coin. It causes unique discussion and critical thinking on certain topics. But for those who want to hear it, I don't think Sonic Movie 3 is going to flop. I don't think it's going to be bad. In fact, it is my most anticipated movie of the year, and I plan on getting tickets to watch it. I seriously cannot wait to see how things play out. Like, I'm extremely excited to see this movie, and I'm only hoping for the best. My expectations are so goddamn high, you have no idea. I am not cutting Sega any goddamn slack. Now Ethan, I hear you saying, how can you call yourself a fan of the Sonic movies if you don't want a Sonic movie 4, 5, 6, 7, 9? Do you realize what you're missing out on? We could finally get characters like Amy, Rouge, Blaze, I know you like her, Silver, Big the Cat, and heck, we can even get further adaptations of games like Sonic CD, Sonic Heroes, the best Sonic game of all time, Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic 06. Okay, I think you see where I'm going with this. I don't want them to blindly adapt the video game stories. And here's what I mean. Sonic Movie 2 is an adaptation of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. No duh. In a sense where it has the plotline of Eggman tricking Knuckles into stealing the Master Emerald to power the Death Egg. But where is the Death Egg? Where's Hypersonic? A question fans have been asking since he made one and only one appearance and then dipped. Like that one guy who was somebody that I used to know. You see, where Ratchet and Clank was just a one-to-one of the video game, Sonic took segments of their games and put a different spin on it. We see Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1 storing the Master Emerald instead of it being on Angel Island. Snowboarding sections in Sonic 3, but it wasn't to escape from Eggman with a compass. It takes elements of what made the game's basic story into something that works within the world building of the Sonic movie universe, which is incredible. Now we have Sonic Movie 3 adapting Sonic Adventure 2, and already there are a lot of deviations from the source. Eggman isn't the one to free Shadow, Gerald is alive, no Rouge or Amy. The story is more focused on Shadow's backstory, which was probably the most impactful part of Sonic Adventure 2, and based on what we've seen so far, strictly speaking about the movie, they look like they're doing a fantastic job and taking the story seriously, which is just incredible. I don't want them to completely adapt Sonic Adventure 2 or any of the games. I want them to do their own thing, because then I can walk into a movie with certain expectations, not knowing how everything is going to play out, which is just incredible for me, because if I wanted to watch a movie of Sonic Adventure 2, I'll just watch Sonic Adventure 2 cutscenes. Like, it's not that hard. Alright, so they seem to be doing a really good job of simply adapting the games in a way that makes the story unique. Why does this not give you hope for a Sonic Movie 4 when it looks like they're doing a good job? We could actually go back to Sonic's world and start a new trilogy, kind of like how Star Wars did it with the prequels. The fan idea is that we're going to be getting Metal Sonic in this movie. God, they've been saying that since Sonic 1. And he'll be the main villain going forward, which does bring up an adaptation for Sonic CD and Heroes as Metal Sonic becomes Metal Overlord. And then that could be the whole trilogy. To which, if they do go with that plan, I kind of agree with that segment more, because this, it would just be weird to adapt stories like Sonic and the Black Knight and Sonic Unleashed. I don't think anybody wants to see the Werehog in live action. I mean, I think that would be very interesting, but I know a majority of people would think that's just kind of weird. They'll leave Earth in an emotional goodbye, but the adventures of Team Sonic continues on their home world, which honestly just sounds incredible. Like, could you imagine a fully CGI Sonic movie in Green Hills? Not that one. We got a taste of what that's like in the opening of Sonic Movie 1. Like, the possibilities are endless. And hey, if the Sonic CD/Sonic Heroes trilogy, aka like the next 3 movies, are a success, the story can keep going, and then we can keep adapting more games until we have a cinematic universe of Sonic movies. But that's the issue right there. I don't want a cinematic universe. Ignoring the fact that we've watched how cinematic universes crashed and burned, I don't want the Sonic movies to be near mirrors of the game timeline, to which it clearly isn't, but hear me out. I think the Mario movie did it best, where we see their origin, and it's definitely not your typical Mario game. It does its own thing and it's unique. Heck, even the Angry Birds movie got this right too. It took the simple premise of angry birds fighting pigs and made it into a movie that I really enjoyed. But coming back to sequels and continuations, we live in a day and age where nothing is sacred anymore. A story can never just end. It has to keep going on and on. You're not able to have fan theories and speculations of how Megamind continues to be the hero of Monstrosity, or how they could continue the How to Train Your Dragon story with Hiccup's kids. Instead, you got an awful sequel that nobody asked for, and a continuation of a story set 1,000 years into the future, where all the main characters are dead, and you don't get to know what happened to them. Best thing you can do is pretend the movie didn't happen, or that you can make a headcanon that make a headcanon that everything worked out in the end. On top of that, so many icons over the past years have been culturally vandalized to make way for new characters and continuations of stories that nobody wants. I'm sorry, I'm ranting a bit here, mostly because I just don't like the way modern Hollywood is going. But coming back full circle, I want the Sonic movies to have a legacy, not endless content. The How to Train Your Dragon movies, and by proxy the TV show, Not You, is a trilogy that I praise with high regards. It's a trilogy that you can watch, and when you finish all 3 movies, you feel content. The story had a good beginning, a crazy middle, and a happy end. Yes, I can speculate how New Burke is gonna be, and if Hiccups is gonna go on more adventures with his kids, but for what it's worth, we saw a young Viking grow into the chief he was always meant to be, and that right there is legacy. I want to be able to look back at the Sonic movies, watch them, and be like, I just watched and enjoyed an incredible series. I think we forget the beauty of having something small. We've watched time and time again as franchises that we love crumble to dust and blow away because they just kept going. I miss the old days where a story just had a beginning, middle, and end. And while How to Train Your Dragon may not be the best example of a perfect trilogy, I could think of others like Lord of the Rings, Terminator, Star Wars. Look where all of them are now. But the movie that needed no sequel whatsoever, no kind of continuation, was a film released in 2008. WALL-E, a movie that in recent months have become one of my most favorite standalone animated films. A movie that aged well for all the right and wrong reasons. Us living in a WALL-E world is not a good thing, people. It's just one movie, but it packs such a beautiful message of love, living, what it means to be alive, to take care of what's ours. And it did really well at the box office, but they refused to make another one, even stating that it was really a love story that had a beginning, middle, and end, and they couldn't really find another story to fit into that universe again. Best decision they ever made. They now have a movie that is legacy. How to Train Your Dragon is legacy minus a few things. Kung Fu Panda has legacy minus a few things. Shrek has a legacy minus a few. Oh my god. In my coherent rambling, I've come to realize something. In all those legacies, you kind of have to chop off the bad stuff to get that idealized media. We technically already have to do that with the Sonic movies. Man, what was the point of this video? I know a lot of this is just schizo rambling, and it sounds like I don't have any good reason to not want a Sonic movie 4 other than legacy and that I'm afraid they'll mess it up, but I just find it so comforting and rare these days to have 3 movies that are fire and leave it at that. Call me a simplist in that regard. I think whatever they plan to do next, I hope they go even harder, starting a brand new trilogy. I want the next 3 Sonic movies to be fully CGI. Get rid of the humans. I'm sorry, I'm with the people now on this one. Get rid of them. Talking about this really makes me reflect on the times we're in. I think a part of me made this video not just to talk about Sonic Movie 3 and capitalize on my overnight success, but to also reflect on how movie sequels and continuations occur, how this movie universe means an awful lot to me, and I think I'm just scared to see it flop. I'm scared of Sonic to flop. I've said it a lot of times, we are living in the best timeline to be a Sonic fan. We're eating real good right now, and I think I'm just afraid of losing it all. Watching so many franchises bite the dust is sickening, and I don't want that for Sonic. Holy, that was a yap sesh. All I can hope for at the end of the day is that Sonic Movie 3 is going to be peak, and if they do make a Sonic Movie 4, they better have a goddamn good reason to other than money. So that's my thoughts on the possibility of Sonic Movie 4 and why I don't think it should happen. Do you agree with my takes? Do you think they're bad? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and if you thought this take was bad, maybe you'll roast me even harder in my last video talking about why I'm not excited for Sonic X Shadow Generations. Stay safe, stay wholesome, and don't forget to always be creative.